Hey guys, so I want to shoot the video because a lot of my friends and a lot of contractors that I know, they charge clients really pretty much exactly the same amount of money that I pay them. And it's kind of strange. Like, people think having the business and doing their own business, it's all because it's all having own clients, and they kind of think they're gonna charge them more later on. They will just get started, but in reality they keep rotating that hamster wheel or whatever. So the point is this: like, if you want to figure out how to charge customers more than a contractor's price, really, you gotta do something different that you're doing right now. And the purpose of the video, I'm just gonna try to explain things that I've gone through, I came across, and I figured out using other examples, couple of my friends that showed me what to do differently. So now I'll be able to charge clients at least double. Usually I want to go to 2.5, 3x what contractors or a competitor would charge exactly the same client, which is pretty much ridiculous for them doing the same thing, because you got to do your own advertisement, you have to drive to the appointments, you have to lose appointments, you have to do all that dance and taking the whole risk on yourself, running your company, like doing so bunch of things for the same amount of money, which makes no sense at all. Like, it's better to work for somebody who can set everything up, do really clear instructions on how to do things, and you just do it and you get the same amount of money. So the purpose of the video is to really show the difference, why some people keep doing that, and how to get out of it, because it's a constant loop. You can't get out of it because you're in a box, you're still doing the same thing over and over again, and you keep attracting clients because you're already doing that. So let me go and explain a couple of things. I made a couple of notes, I'll be going through them. English is not my first language, so I really need them. So why it's the problem? I know it's obvious, I know it's super obvious why it's the problem, but technically if you charge them, if you charge clients the same amount of money or very similar, you're not gonna have any money to advertise. You're just not gonna have any money, and then you will think the advertisement is not working and all those common things. Then the rich clients, they're not gonna even consider you. They're gonna be afraid, because if you do that, you're charging them low, they're just gonna filter you out right away. You're not gonna have enough money for mistakes. Like, everybody's doing mistakes, it's normal, but you're not gonna have enough money to do that. You're gonna be in constant stress because you're really spending them. You're not gonna have enough money to hire best helpers. If you don't have enough money, you're just gonna keep attracting. You will keep cutting their pay, and you will be attracting the lowest grade people, and you're not gonna magnet them. That's the thing. You can't really build a business. You cannot. If you don't have enough money, you can't build a business that it's kind of working for you, and you seeing that from the top, at least to some extent, and the business is not going to run itself. You will be always operating in the business instead of trying to grow it, kind of like adding the partners, or you can call it a franchise structure, like any structure. You're going to be still operating, even if you want to add like 10 guys or 2 guys or 3 guys. If you don't have enough money, if you don't hire the right people, you're going to keep operating things, which is no good. It's not going to allow you to work on the business. You're not gonna have money to buy new things and try them, like new equipment, again, try new marketing. Just not gonna have it. You're always gonna be behind somebody. Somebody will be doing new things, and you will be just trying to catch up. And I guess the last thing is you're gonna have stressful clients. The stressful clients are those people who scream the most, and you kind of hear them the first thing because they are the loudest one. If you don't have money to filter them out and just leave them aside, you're gonna be working for those, and those are completely opposite from affluent clients. So that's I just wanted to outline a whole bunch of problems if you don't charge enough. So why you can't just charge more? Why that problem keep popping up? Why it exists, and why most of the people, I would say like 95%, they just can't charge more. So first of all, everyone is copying from somebody else. We see what's on the surface, and we just copy things because we believe they working. Usually it's not the case. So then there is no specific education. Each business is different, right? Like even if you have a friend or a successful person who is in another business, in your business, because the sales process is different, it's going to work a little bit differently anyway. So you need a specific education, and that's not copied from somebody else, because you don't really know if it's working or it's also being copied. Then we're doing too many things at the same time. So for example, you can be a salesperson, you can be an estimator, you can be your own boss, you can work for yourself as a boss, you can also order the materials, and so on and so on and so on. You can understand that in big companies, those are different people, and they doing things like pretty well if they work for a long time. For example, like salesperson who only does sales 8 hours a day is going to be most likely better than a person who's working with his hands and trying to do sales, unless that person knows what that guy knows, right? Again, there are a lot of debates on that, but if those two people, the sales and the working person, work together good, the sales guy will be selling better. They will be doing better margins, and that's for everything. So since we're trying to do a lot of things ourselves, then obviously we're not professional in every field. And another thing is industry specific secrets or tricks, or really industry specific workarounds. We gotta learn those. If we don't know them, then obviously we're gonna be losing that game. There are always new things coming up. So again, you have to know them. Otherwise, you're gonna be always kind of catching and play that game. In a business, we gotta work on the things little things, but make a huge difference. If you don't know those, you're constantly gonna be working on the things that give you a lot of work, but gives you very little difference. It's actually very easy to mix them up. I mean, if you really didn't separate them side by side, if you don't know those, like, trust me, you're gonna be spending like 80% of your time, and the effort, whatever you get, is gonna be like just 20% instead of opposite, 20-80. And there are a lot of things that well known, but people don't know how to use it. So what's gonna happen if you don't change the way you're doing business right now? Technically, the years will be going as they're going right now, and obviously you'll become older and you won't move that much, because again, you gotta learn new things, and you're spending time for that, plus you're spending time to operate the business. So you starting things really slow, and I'm pretty sure like you don't want your kids at the end, to say like, "Father, what have you been doing all those years? Where is the actual business? Where is the business that I can take over or copy, or at least consider running?" Obviously, if you don't have time to try new things, to be with the family, to be with kids, you won't have that ability to test new things, and you constantly will be behind somebody who have time for all that. If you can figure out how to eliminate that, either yourself, either with somebody's help, then obviously you can automate a lot of parts of the business. You can automate the most boring parts or the stuff that you've not been made for, or you just hate to do. You can either automate it or delegate it. You can find yourself a partner, obviously, who's going to be doing, let's say, operational or sales, depends on things that you don't like personally. Or you can find, obviously, better help, better people, better guys who's going to believe in your business and in what you do and help you. Obviously, another benefit, you're going to have a better lifestyle and you're going to have money left over after business. It's not going to be a job. It's not going to be just a good high-paying job without the boss, where you are not the best boss to be in the first place. You're going to be actually like a really great boss. So maybe you're not going to be becoming your own boss, but you're going to keep being a boss, and then maybe sometimes you be a worker for yourself, not the other way around. So the problem is if you go into YouTube or ask people around, most people for some reason don't really talk about this concept. Maybe it's not really specific to construction business or renovation business or any business. It's been it's pretty much in every business. It doesn't matter. It's like universal concept. Wherever you sell, either like a pen or renovation or interior design, whatever, construction services, it's pretty much the same thing. And what I learned through the years is how to use that concept and really apply to renovation business to get the most out of it. So here is the thing. It's basically a client path to a buying situation, a buying timing, and that path is not really what most contractors or most people think of. So I'll give you a couple of examples. Here is what most people do wrong. Like, everyone has like some sort of a sales process, right? Clients calls in, there is some sales process. The problem is, client wasn't just picking up the phone randomly and calling you. He was having some steps, and by doing those steps, somehow he came across your number. And this is the thing. It's really important to learn what are those steps for each business. And for each business, it's different. It's all a little bit different for each business. It's kind of the same thing, but it's a little bit different process, different people, and different speed and different timing and different needs. So to keep it short, before I realized that, I was kind of doing way less in sales, having worse clients, and I didn't understand why. Like, I was really good at SEO at some point. I was having about 5 to 6 spots at the very competitive keyword on the first page of Google, and even having that, I still didn't have really great clientele. Like, I had a lot of calls, but I wasn't really happy with all the clients that I was getting. Like, it was a lot of traffic. Like, I could put a lot of people on it, but the problem is, because you don't have that margin, you really in reality have like very thin leftovers. And unless you want to constantly work yourself and again do everything yourself, this video is probably not for you anyway. But if you want to set this up, that's not the way, because otherwise you're going to be in that hamster wheel all the time. So each time in a client's path required some different technique. The technique is different if you sell into a client at the end or in the beginning or in the middle. The technique is always different. It has similarities, but it's different. And it has different competitors as well, like different competitors with different products. So that needs to be really clear to understand. And the sequence of the sales is also different. Again, they all kind of same, right? But they're going to be different. And understanding that concept, like once you understand that, you will see the whole thing. And objections means when the customer tells you it's too expensive, going to be different on each step, and probably different because they have different values in each of those steps. I hope it's clear. I'm trying to be like as clear as possible. If you got any questions, just ask me if that's not, if it's hard to understand. Sometimes I just talk too much in words. I'm just trying to make sure it's pretty clear. That's all. So here is the path. Like the path is a way, a route from a moment where the client have no clue that he needs your service to the point that he knows everything. Basically, he knows how to do it instead of you. So that's the path in, I guess, of the knowledge of education or of connections. There are a bunch of things there, right? So let me just outline a couple of steps. So first step, obviously they don't know you, they don't care. Even if you tell them, look, this is a great product, they don't care, right? Doesn't matter. So then the next step is they've heard of it. They've heard of things that you do. Could be, I don't know, custom kitchen. Not all people need custom kitchen, right? Some people okay with builder, some people go to IKEA, some people will go to somebody else. But they've heard of, just think of your product. Think of the client who doesn't know anything about it, and now he started to know. Then he's heard it many times. That's the new step. He already heard many times. He can see it in a few different angles. Then the next step is he kind of feel that what he got needs to be changed somehow. He doesn't know how yet, to what you may offer or somebody else. He doesn't know specifically you. The next step is he's getting pressure to change from parents, kids, I don't know, wife, husband, friends, I don't know. And then the next step is he already have a need, or he knows that he needs to change it himself. Pressure, now he knows himself. Then the next thing is he knows what to change. Yeah, he knows what to change. For example, he knows what, let's say, if it's in a kitchen business, he understands that he needs a refacing instead of changing the whole kitchen. You know, like if you're doing the doors, he understands that he can maybe add on some things instead of changing the door. So he knows what to change. Then the next step is he knows how to change it. So he knows some technique, or he may not want to do it himself, but he just knows the process. It's hard for you to tell basically something new to him. Maybe some tricks, but nothing in general new. And then the next step is he knows, well, that's actually already was a really big step. The next step is he knows who can he use or call or order by to change this. He knows how and he knows what, so he knows the whole thing. Like there is nothing new. He just basically calls you, and what is it, 5 grand? Okay, he knows the whole thing, right? So this is the path, and it's really important to understand that a lot of people, I would say most, and you can now understand where you usually hunting for your clients. A lot of people hunt for the client or fish for the clients or try to get them in a wrong place. Most of it, like say if I can compare it with myself, I was fishing at the place where people type in Google the product. You can see if we're going back to the list, it's know what to change. 2 more, and that's the end of the list. So this is so why it's good and bad. It's good because people already know what to change, and it's a transaction. All you need to be is to be in the same value level with your clients. You want to make sure that your values align with the client's values, your price aligns, and that's it. It's a transaction. It's a simple sale. It's like in a grocery store. Okay, how much? $5, done, right? The problem is you gotta clearly show the value. I mean, if your product is clearly super different, of course, no problem. You'll be the winner. If it clearly shows that your product is super different, and if I look at the magazine and if I see like 20 different realtors, and if I see your ad and I'm like, yeah, he's different, without calling all 20 or 100, worst case, then you win. You don't need to know anything more. You're already in a good place. Usually the problem is that people try to lower the price. What they're doing is they kind of bringing the value up by lowering the price, which is the least effective, not effective, the least, it's not the best for you, because you're losing again margin, you're losing on money. But that's the easiest one. That's the easiest. So when you offer people a discount, or when you see the product has a discount, and that's all, I mean, unless, I'm not gonna say 100%, unless it's a specific strategy, unless there is nothing else, unless it just works that way, I would say 95% of people will be selling it wrong. They will just be focusing on getting like the cheapest clients, basically, and you'll get what you say, I guess, in this case. So yeah, sometimes you need to do a discount when you have the ability, you bought it cheaper or something, but in most of the cases that's not the case. You need to bring the value up. The hardest part is how do you bring the value up without losing the margin? Usually what people trying to do is they saying, well, I got a better quality, and if it's not just words, if you got to prove it, that's actually also lowering your margin, because you got to now provide better quality. That means more expensive people or more expensive materials or longer processes, and then you still have less margin. Or you can say you can do it, I don't know, another value is you can do it faster. Maybe it's not that bad if you have the abilities, then it's fine. But in most cases, that how people doing it, it's usually somewhat in those lines. Either you lowering the price, either you kind of raising the quality, which, in other words, you're losing the margin one way or another, and it's not the optimal way to do. I mean, it's okay if it works for you, it's fine, but it's just not the optimal way, and it's not probably not the smartest, I guess. And there are better ways. There are better ways. So why it's happening? Because, as I said in the beginning of the video, most of people just copy from other people. When I came to the business, I was just stupidly copying, like, monkey see, monkey do kind of thing. I was just, oh, these people do this, okay, I'm gonna do that as well. And that leads me to the same bunch of problems. And in the end, when you know a lot, you're thinking, what went wrong? Like, I know so much, and then it still doesn't work for me. I'm still selling this stuff for very cheap. And I'll give you an example. Let's say I was selling something for $5, a linear food, right? We came to the point that we were selling it for 3.5 per linear food, and people were still not happy. We still didn't have happiest clients. They still were like really demanding why you didn't you know, call me, I don't know, in the evening, didn't explain me everything properly. So it was still a nightmare. So bringing the price up didn't help at all. I was just getting more and more frustrated clients, and it looked like that I'm losing the margin, but I'm not really getting more traffic. I'm not really getting like more loyal customers because I'm giving them good value, right? It's a cheap price. But in reality, I was just attracting the wrong people all along. So that really backfired. And then we had to risk. And at that time, it was really hard. Like imagine you used to, like you're going against yourself. It's like you thinking that the lowering the price is a great thing. And then the next thing you're trying is to put the prices high, and obviously you're not used to it, you don't understand. And the problem is when you change the clients, you change the whole sales process, and eventually what comes to it, you start losing the clients. Let's say if I'm always booked a month ahead, then I was booked maybe another next 3-4 days ahead, and that was like because I got people working, right? Like I can't tell them that, you know, I'm not booked in the next week. They see the calendar. So yeah, and then so it's really hard to change it because the strategy is different, the conversation is different, the process is different. So now couple of things that we can manipulate this thing. Oh, another thing that I forgot. So most of people, they go into, let's say, Google. For example, you put in ads in Google, and then people find you. For example, how to install doors. Probably YouTube sounds like a YouTube title. Door installers, right? Or I don't know, drywall painting or just painting. So you're already in a level where people know what to change. They need painting. You'll be surprised. Many people don't know they need to change painting, and there is a whole different bunch of opportunities, but you gotta understand what's involved because that's pros and cons. It's not just pros. So here is the thing. Most people, like absolutely most people, I would say like 80% for sure, advertise in that spot, painting. So when me, let's say a client, type in painting or yourself, you'll get like 1 million painters, and good luck competing. Yeah, you can do home reviews and all that stuff. You can do paid ads, but in reality, it's gonna be like really hard competition unless you're on top of your reviews and it's like, oh, okay, for sure, I'm gonna call this guy. Then it's kind of a transaction, and then you win. If you can't do that, then you just be better with another strategy. That's all. Unless you can just catch to them in terms of reviews or in terms of being like first page on Google. But the problem is, it's still a commodity. That means you're painting, another next guy is painting, the next guy is painting, everyone is painting. Like, I mean, there is no difference. At the point when person is searching, there is no really difference. I don't even know who's what. Client wouldn't know, prospect wouldn't know. So the thing is, it's like fishing at the same lake. Like everyone is fishing at the same lake because it looks like that's the best lake to fish, while in reality you may want to go somewhere else. So here is how you can go somewhere else. You gotta understand where you fish. The idea is to go to the spot which is not too early in the beginning and which is not too late. Usually people fish when it's too late, but you don't want to go too early as well, because if it's too early, it's going to be too expensive for you. You'll have to find the prospect, and I'll talk how to find him. You gotta find him in the early stage. That means you gotta wait a lot of time. So you don't want to do this. Let's say here is the prospect doesn't know nothing. He doesn't even have any idea. And then here is the prospect that he's already buying, right, from you or from somebody else. So you gotta go somewhere here. That's going to be the sweet spot, right? Not in the early, not too late. Then you're just gonna have less competition, and there are a couple of ways to deal with that. So, for example, if you're catching a prospect in an early journey of his buying process, then you would need a lot of follow-ups. Usually you want to automate that, because if you do it manually, then you would think it's better move back to the end of the funnel or sales journey and sell there, because it's too expensive to follow up. You gotta manually call and be annoying, but that's not the case. You just have to automate it or delegate it. Usually automate is better. So in reality, you need to find the balance, somewhere in the balance for your specific business. And I mean, it's really easy to do once you go through the whole thing. You will find it. And so you need to find ideal spot to interrupt the client, potential prospect in his journey. There would be a lot of spots, there will be a lot of opportunities. For example, this is the whole journey. And we understand that this is too expensive, and this is too early, or opposite, I don't know, the camera, how it's rotating. So we gotta narrow down to this field, and within this field there will be multiple opportunities to do so, and some of them will be online, some of them will be offline. You just have to write each step at a time, and in reality it's not hard. You just need to know, I just need a couple of examples, so it's not that hard. Once you do it, you will clearly see those are the opportunities how I can interact with client, either again online, offline, maybe through some referrals, maybe through some other people, like referrals from shoulder niches, from other professionals, they can refer you. It depends, it really depends on what are those spots and what are you good at. And again, if you like, I can talk about it in another video, if just message me for it. And you gotta understand that the process is always will be different. So it's always going to be a different process depending on where you talk to the customer or prospect. The conversation will be different, because either client doesn't know anything, or either he knows everything, or somewhere in between. And the actual sequence will be different, and the timing will be different. So the trick is to understand those spots, figure out your the best spots, and then figure out what you can do and how you can do it the most efficient way, so it's not expensive for you, but at the same time there is not too much competition there just yet. Because once you get the customer or prospect early in the field, in a journey, then you have the opportunity to educate your prospect in your own way. When it comes to choose for prospect who to go with, if you do everything right, there is way more chances, that he will go with you. That's why I said earlier, if the person is Googling, it's probably either he just got there himself, or with help of family or friends. Either someone educated him and somehow dropped a prospect he didn't know what to do, which is good and bad. So the key thing is this: you don't need to know all the different ways. You just need to know the optimal way. You don't need to be Wikipedia. You just need to know the optimal way for your business. What are the pros and cons to interrupt or meet the customer or prospect on every step. I've done that for my business pretty well compared to what I had before. So again, I can share that info. The info is business specific, but the core is exactly the same. The core is exactly the same and the steps are exactly the same. All you need to do is to change from my template to your, basically choose from the options that I have, choose the right options that apply to you, and you will see like if it applies or not, or you'll find the best one. Since there are a bunch of variations and bunch of ways to contact a person, a bunch of ways to cut the cost, bunch of ways to automate things, to delegate things. Some of them needs to be delegated, some of them needs to be automated, and there are a lot of ways to find the best client, and there are some ways that help us to avoid not the best client for us. And the whole process is pretty much copy paste if you want to do it yourself. Obviously there will be few options that I can offer. One option is you can just use that information that I'm giving you, and that's already enough info. And if you have a lot of time, you can go ahead and just implement it. You will start noticing things, and once you go through your journey, through your sales, you will be getting more and more. You will start seeing it, like every sale you're going to go through, you will see that better and better. Also, so you can do it yourself. There are way that I offer as a template that you can, if you contact me, I'll let you know what it is. And it's basically also kind of do it yourself with some help, but mostly just bunch of templates that they already made that helped me. I was doing that while I was going through the process, and then it's like a map that helps me narrow down, and every time I do something new, I use exactly the same map. And then another way would be to, if you need someone to be consistent, like day by day, like kind of like a personal trainer, that option is available too. And just reach out to me and we can discuss that. Also, I'm looking for some partners in other cities. So if you like the business that I'm doing, that I'm running, you kind of gotta be in the same business though, or just like that part. We can talk about becoming a partner as well. I got a few partners already who working with me, and we growing our network as well. So I hope that's useful info. And if you feel like something is missing, or probably I just talk too much, that's what I think, just let me know. And next video I'm going to be making, I'm going to consider that as well. Thanks.